what is happening in the United States, Minister, those who are saying that Donald Trump is not joking when it comes to that, and there are those who believe that Nigeria really needs to also tighten up and ensure that our borders are secured, and people whom we do not, who pose as threats to our nation are not allowed into our country, which brings a big question whether the visa policy takes care, because the very key element of the visa policy proposal is the issue of security and protection of Nigeria. Border control comes into the mix. In this new proposal, how do you ensure a safer border in Nigeria?
Well, thank you. Well, I think that's been, I've spoken about it, but I'll mention it. And also beyond the visa as an instrument of border control, you must also appreciate this particular government, what this government has done. I can speak to you now that 60% of our terrestrial borders, which covers 4,047, so 60% is about 2,400 kilometers, has e-surveillance solutions, and of course, a lot of gains.
What does that mean?
What we mean is that there is real-time monitoring from the command and control and communication.
Land borders?
Land borders, terrestrial borders, about 60% of our land borders. This government has achieved that. And
so just a moment, Minister. Yeah. I know that you are sometimes very weary.
No, just because of your time.
Yeah, no. So the question is that you can see in one room what goes on in some of these borders, because we have vast borders, especially the borders within the Nigerian's northwestern region and the northeastern region, which has been very vulnerable, from Sokoto up onto Borno State. You see those vast borders, and you can imagine how vast that border is. The border between the borders Nigeria and Chad and Niger, you can travel as far as from Lagos to Abuja. That's how vast some of these borders are. So you're saying that, in essence, we can physically, on camera, in video, see what is going on in these borders. Is that what you're saying?
Without risking the lives of my officers, I wouldn't go too deeply into locations. But what I can tell you is that there's e-border surveillance in 60% of our border space at the moment. Going into details is risking the lives of my officers.
How intelligent are these borders,
and
Minister?
I will not be. That's what you call an electronic solution is an intelligent solution. That's it. So a lot of gains had been done as part of what Mr. President came to commission in December.
Sorry, I'll push a bit further, Minister.
Yeah.
There are those who those borders that are so intelligent that even at night, the night vision technology has gotten to that point that it almost will see clearly. There are those who have the motion detector that easily are those capable. Are those technologies that you are deploying capable of that?
Sure. They are enhanced, state-of-the-art, and some of the latest and best technologies anywhere in the world, without giving you specific features of these solutions. Because let's respect national security. Because if you delve too deeply into details, it will be running after chasing populism instead of protection of the lives of these officers and national security. And I would not be irresponsible in that regard.
So there is a new order, and terrorists and those who are coming into Nigeria, they can be seen now.
Sure.
We can monitor them now.
In the name of God, do not push this further. I tell you what it is. 60% of our borders, and the phase 2 is presently, we're working on the phase 2 now, so that we'll be able to cover the entire 4,047 kilometers.
And this has been done in the last 1 year?
That's part of what President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has achieved since he came into office, okay? And also, do not forget today that what you have as an e-gate solution, it's not just for the ease of migration, it's also a border control solution. And if you notice, I said it in one of the stations, in the last couple of weeks, the number of people on Interpol red list that have been apprehended at our airports, you rarely see that happen. But Nigeria, just last week, we got somebody on the Interpol red list who wanted in Ireland. The other day was somebody wanted it on red list of Interpol. Today, our borders are more protected. Why? Because immigration cannot do pre-profiling. Immigration officers can now do objective profiling rather than subjective profiling. If you come into Nigeria, Nigeria has your details. Nigeria does your profiling even before you come. All this has changed over the last 18 months of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration. These are things that were done in the area of border control. Today, your passport has been imported to the PKI, PKD, ICAO Global Directory. These are border control solutions that this government has done. There's a PNR solution as we speak, passenger name record and the advanced passenger information system. That had been done, integrated to the MIDAS and Interpol. A lot of work had been done in border control. Let me tell you the truth. Our model today, without mentioning one or two developed countries, I can tell you emphatically, I've had the opportunity of presenting our models to about 2-3 of these countries, and I can tell you there's adoption of our border control model as I speak. Next week, just today in office, I got an invitation to one of these global to come and talk about border control, the Nigerian story. What we have been able to achieve under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu with regards to border control, it's something that is better imagined. You know,
Minister,
so in area of border control, the government has done so well.
Let me quickly take you up on, I just want to wrap up quickly on the visa policy so that I can go into, because one of the promises you made on this program is about how the renewed hope, because you're always hammering on renewed hope and how you will create jobs. And I'm going to wonder.
Not me creating jobs.
You,
this administration.
You, through the president, have said that under your ministry,
not me through the president. The president, through me.
Whichever way. Minister, did you or did this government remove any country on the e-visa list?
I don't understand that. And I'm not going to talk about that here, Sean.
Are there countries that cannot apply for e-visa?
I'm not going to talk about that.
Is China off that list?
China is a major trade partner to Nigeria. And I said it today at the program. China is eligible because we will not paint an entire street with a single brush. There are some Chinese people doing fantastically well in Nigeria, employing people, doing well. There are some that are bad eggs, just like there are some people in other climes that are bad eggs, but we would not generalize. So please, I have said China, if you're being specific about China, China is eligible.
Is Sudan, Afghanistan, Iraq, are they eligible?
Sure. I will not talk about this here.
For what purpose, Minister?
I will not.
For the sake of Nigerians, because you're not speaking directly to me.
For the sake of national security, I will not talk about some topics here.
Okay, I'd like to just leave it at that. How much of jobs have you been able to provide under your ministry in the last 1 year? Because that's one of the things that the president, he promised boots on the ground. And NSC, the Nigerian Civil Defense Corps, is under your purview, the fire service, the immigration. Has that promise been kept under your ministry?
Sean, let me tell you, when you talk about job creation by Mr. President, you have to differentiate direct and indirect jobs.
Which one have you created?
Hold on. When you talk about job creation, I just want to correct that. Or not correct, I just want to express that. You talk about direct and indirect jobs. The Mr. President's promise to Nigerians is about direct and indirect. But direct jobs are jobs that, for instance, puts financial pressure also on government. So in you giving direct jobs, it has to be on needs basis. All right? Do we need this job? It's not as a poverty alleviation. But through policies and investment, foreign direct investment, you can create millions of jobs, which this government has done a lot. But I'm not Minister of Information. I'm not Minister of Trade and Investment to give you the statistics. But you know, with investors coming here and there, they're bringing money, they're opening business, that is, job. But if you're talking about government direct jobs, of course, under Ministry of Interior, Mr. President, we did about 2,500 fire service people. Recruitment, all right? And that is because we understand that fire service, just like anywhere in the world, is not statutorily just for fire. They are first responders in cases of emergency. And you cannot plan to have a $1 trillion economy, or you want people to come and invest without a functional emergency response system. You will be joking, and Mr. President understands that. And that is why this particular administration has done that. Also, this particular, when we came on board, in fact, it was done before I came on board. There was recruitment of immigration service and co. But with exception to the fire service that had been done under this administration, none has been done. But for the 2025, there are plans to be able to recruit more people to Nigerian Immigration Service, especially to put boots on ground in our borders and to be able to man our borders. There are plans to also recruit people into the NSCDC. A lot of them will be trained in areas of critical asset protection and, of course, agro rangers to be able to protect our farmlands and etc. Hold on. Yeah. And, of course, there are plans also to be able to recruit more people into the other agencies.
All right.